and I got a haircut, if you couldn't tell, which are both YAs, by the way. Another YA, shocker. Hello everyone. It has been some time since I have recorded a video, and I got a haircut, if you couldn't tell. I think it looks good, better than it was. Now, in September, I set out with a very ambitious TBR. Okay, so I'm just going to go over those books that I chose with TBR, and then tell you what happened to some of them, and then we're going to go from there. So, the first book was, which I had already seen, To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. This book I had actually chosen back in August, y'all. You guys saw the video, but then I put it down and then didn't pick it back up. So this book I finished the first week. Actually, like the first 2 days of September. And then this book, we're just going to list the books that were on the TBR, and then I will go back and update you guys in another video. But the gist of this is that it's a girl this is a YA. It's about a girl that wrote a lot of embarrassing letters to some guys, but it was more of like a therapy thing. She wasn't sending them out. And she wrote them to get her feelings out for the boys and then put them in her closet to forget about them, right? Well, instead of that happening, her letters ended up getting mailed out to the boys. And it talks about her journey with that happening. And also it's kind of like a coming of age story where she is changing her role in her family. I will go more into this with a wrap up or maybe in one of the weekly vlogs, but that's what this gist of the story is. And the next book on the agenda was A City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. This is the first book in the Mortal Instruments series. Guys, this book, it was great. I read this book in 3 days, I think. Anyway, that's what that is. And this one follows a girl. Her name is Clary. She basically was blinded to a world that she had no idea was there until it recently started showing up for her. And then she finds out a whole bunch of stuff. It's like a world being revealed to her that had been there the whole time, but she was blinded to it, basically. And that's what this is about. And it just talks about her story and what happened to her for that to happen, and also meeting some friends along the way. And this is a YA book too, and I've always wanted to start this series, so I will be continuing it, even though it is a YA. But that's that. And then the next book is another YA called Looking for Alaska. This one is by John Green. I wanted to read this because I actually watched the show on Hulu, Looking for Alaska, and I really wanted to know what the book was and if it was strongly based off of it. And it is. I can tell you that my favorite character is Miles, which is our main character in this book. And it is a great book. I do heavily recommend it. Still saying, if you've never read it, I would recommend that you read it no matter what your age is. It is amazing. And maybe we should all be looking for the great, perhaps. And then we had another book on the TBR. The Only One Left by Riley Sager. Guys, I just completed this book. Okay, this book had me hung up for a week and a half. Okay, amazing book. Loved it. I don't know what it was about it. I think it's because I recently changed like my eating habits and my exercise routine, so I think it just kind of took a backseat to that for me to get used to that. But we finished it. Finished this bad boy yesterday, and we are moving on. This is Editing Ellis. To tell you a little bit more about The Only One Left by Riley Sager, we follow our girl Kit as she goes through a major life change. She is forced to take this job as a caregiver to a woman that supposedly she was never accused. Well, she was accused, but she was never sentenced of killing her family. Her mother, her father, and her sister. So she goes to this creepy ass house to take care of this supposed murderer. That's what the base of the story is. I don't want to tell you any more than that because this book gave me a time. It was twisty. It was good, but in like a convoluted way. Okay. Alright. Now, the next books that I'm about to tell you I have not read this month. And it is the middle of the month, so we will see if that happens at all. Okay? But stick with me, because I am shocked that I've found it in the library and I didn't have to put it on hold, guys. I saw it and I immediately grabbed it off the shelf. It is Golden Sun. It is Golden Sun by Pierce Brown, and this book is the next book in the Red Rising series. As you guys know, I read that earlier this year, so we will be diving into Golden Sun. I'm ready to see what our boy Doro is doing. I'm just excited. This is actually the next book that I'm reading. I was going to read The Elite by Kara Cass, which is the next book in the selection series. However, this I own. I own The Elite. I do not own Golden Sun. And Golden Sun needs to be sent back to the library before the end of the month. So I figured I would go ahead and read it so I wouldn't have to worry about it, because I'm pretty sure somebody has it on hold already. And I'll have to just return it because this book's going to hold a lot. Just saying. And this book, The Elite, is the continuation of Selection, which was about our girl America going through this selection process to become the next queen of Iliad. I don't want to give too much away. That's just what's in the synopsis. So, when I do give my review on this, it will be heavily... I will put a spoiler warning up when I talk about it, because it is the second book in the series. Just saying. And that this one will probably be next after Golden Sun, which are both YAs, by the way. Another YA, shocker, it's Shadow and Bone by Lee Bardugo. That is the next one. This book I found several times at the library, so if I don't get to this month, it's not that big of a deal. I can just put it on October's TBR. No. Shadow and Bone. I would read the synopsis in the back, but I'm just going to sum it up for you guys. We are following our main character, Elena, as she goes from fighting things with her best friend Noel that she unfortunately has a crush on, to losing Maul and being ripped from everything she knows to be made into this Garcia, which is a magical elite led by the Darkling. And she is put into the situation where she has to fight for them. And she no longer can fight with Maul by her side because he's not there anymore. And the last sentence says, as the threat to the kingdom mounts and her dangerous attraction to the Darkling grows, Elena will uncover a secret that could tear her heart and her country into two. Now, if that just doesn't sound appetizing, because it do to me. You might have to bump that one up, because Elite, I can always read the Elite. Okay, they can go on next month's TBR. This might get bumped up. Okay. After The Shape of Water, because you girls gotta read that one. I'll let you guys know. But I do want to read, and this book, I have the audio for it on Libby, so it will be read in the next 10 days. Which is The Shape of Water by... I am so sorry if I butcher this name. It is Guillermo del Toro and Daniel Carus. So, this book was actually written and then made into a movie. We follow Eliza, which is a mute woman who works at a ocean research aerospace facility. And she's a janitor. She's a janitor there. She heavily relies on one of her co-workers, who is very protective of her, and her neighbor, which is very loving and takes care of her. She ends up one day going to work and seeing something she wasn't meant to see, of a very sensitive asset of this research facility. And turns out it's an amphibious man. And this story is her basically making a connection to this amphibious man. And we find out more about it. I am very interested in this book, reading this book, and then I actually have the movie that I'm going to watch after I read this book. So we'll see how that goes. And then we have Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Negan. This one I have on ebook only. Okay, so Girls of Paper and Fire by Natasha Negan. The back says, "In my land, we are known as paper girls, easily torn, existing only for others to use and discard. But there's something they've all forgotten about paper. It can light the world on fire and make it burn." That is the only description we get for this. There's a couple blurbs, but I think that description is what I'm going to go in to this book with, because that sounds good enough for me. I'm very interested. I want to know what it is, and I'm not mistaken this is part of a series. Comment down below if you think that it isn't, but I think it is. And maybe we got something remarkable there. We will see how that goes, but that is the TBR for this month. Right, so I told you guys that I DNF'd a book, and this is actually the book by Kat Martin, The Last Good Night. This is... I tried, guys. I gave it like 2 chapters. And it just didn't hook me. And then the male main character had the audacity to be sexist in the 2nd chapter. Like, he really got mad at this woman character for doing her job. Like, you just gonna act like this woman don't know what she's doing because she's a woman. That just made me mad. Like, I couldn't even finish the chapter, like, after that happened. I'm just like, I'm good. I just put it down and DNF'd. I just don't have time for that. Like, I don't want to read about stuff like that. Now, if this was a dark romance or something, maybe. But that dark romance better be romancing, okay? This, I ain't got time. Let's just put it that way. I just don't have time, okay? Alright, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this TBR / letting you know what these books are for and what they are. If you liked the content, please like, subscribe if you want to. I'm not about to come make you, but this hug will mean a lot more if you do. So here we go, guys. Let's hug it out. It's time to get going. I got things to do. I know you guys got things to do. So I'll see you guys in the next video. And hopefully I can update you guys on more of these books that I read.